So it's one more thing why Gervonta Davis can beat him.
So you think all that's gonna be beneficial for Gervonta? Obviously, right? It's gonna matter in the fight.
I think so.
Rounds, he was just running, holding.
I can fight with him for free. I can fight for. Why he can't fight with me when I stay in the 130? Why? Why then I was a 130 champion, WBO champion. He has a IBF title. Why in that moment he can't fight with me?
Wanted to see him and Tank Davis a couple years ago. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, kind of like we talked about with same thing we talked about with Canelo, that if he's ever going to fight Benavidez, it better be soon. If this fight's going to happen, it has to happen soon, because Lomachenko, again, the clock is still ticking.
So it's one more thing why Gervonta Davis can beat him. So you think all that's going to be beneficial for Gervonta? Obviously right, it's going to matter in the fight. I think so. Second rounds he was running holding. Gervonta Davis has taken his preparation for the Lamont Roach rematch to the very next level, as he has now involved Vasiliy Lomachenko in his preparations for the August fight with Lomachenko. Gervonta Davis has one of the most decorated amateur in the history of boxing. Interestingly, this is the first time Lomachenko will be making headlines since he announced his retirement last week. His announcement was a confirmation that the long-awaited fight between him and Gervonta would now be impossible. I can fight with him for free. I can fight for why he can't fight with me when I stay in the 130? Why then I was a 130 champion, WBO champion. He has a IBF title. Why in that moment he can't fight with me? I wanted to see him and Tank Davis a couple years ago. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, kind of like we talked about with, same thing we talked about with Canelo, that if he's ever going to fight Benez, it better be soon. If this fight's going to happen, it has to happen soon, because Lomano, again, the clock is still ticking. As a result, Tank reached out to him particularly to help him figure out Lamont Roach's style. Stylistically, Lamont Roach is quite similar to Gervonta Davis, only that Gervonta Davis has way more powerful punches. However, Lamont Roach is smart, and like Tank, he knows how to box. They both have the style of a boxer-puncher, which is why Gervonta Davis has had some difficulty beating him. Lomachenko fought 397 amateur fights and lost just one. And it was no surprise that he began his career and it went the way it did. Lomachenko, interestingly, was after of Lamont Roach. While Tank's boxing career is built more on power, he has the skill to back it up, and he showed this in his training session. There's the usual complaint in his fights that he loses the early rounds as he tries to study his opponent, which may be a disadvantage if he faces a skillful fighter. As always, his training was based on his power again. However, he backed it up with some other training on his muscle flexibility, strength, and endurance. The video showed Tank doing some body exercises, stretches, and push-ups. The lightweight world champion has missed weight quite a few times during the course of his career. And to avoid what happened in his last fight, where he had to miss his grand arrival because he was on the road jogging and making attempts to make weight. Hey T, we going to go 35 for 12. Many years ago, legendary champion Marvin Hagler remarked that it's hard to get up and do road work at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. In other words, after his body exercises, the world champion got on the mitts and punching bag, testing his punch power. Afterwards, he engaged in some sparring with an unknown sparring partner before taking a short break. He then looked to get camera and said, taking it all out on August 16th. His speed, his strength, his confidence, and his skill are enough to discourage Lamont Roach from taking the fight. The American superstar possesses huge talent in the squared circle and has yet to be beaten in his 30 professional fights so far. His lightning hands and electric speed has seen him compared to legend and former mentor Floyd Mayweather. But he also boasts frightening punch power. Music, Davis is currently back in the gym as he prepares to face Lamont Roach with the fight now scheduled for March 1st. Footage has now emerged of the American back in the ring working out with his team. He cracked the pads with his training partner, showing off some simply mind-blowing speed. Ready, go. 10-9-8-7 power 6-5 power 4 power 3-2-1 more good roll under me. Tank threw short and sharp punches at a remarkable output and fans could barely believe what they were watching. Davis has some serious hand speed and fans were quick to react with one writing simply incredible. Another added he is just on another level. So talented. A fan agreed. Bet nobody noticed he's a natural southpaw doing this in orthodox stance. Plus the foot placement, he's really on a different level. Fans even began making a prediction for his next fight with one writing, Tank vs Roach isn't going to last very long. One viewer concluded, he looks fight ready now. Boxing fans were close to seeing this fight in 2024 until talks broke off as ESPN reported that Lomachenko wanted to take off the rest of the year. Loma is not in the mood right now. He doesn't have the motivation at the moment. Lomachenko's manager, Aegis Klimas, said to Steve Kim via ESPN. He's taking off. He wants to spend more time with the family. With Loma. Just money is not what motivates him. The 37-year-old Ukrainian beat George Kambosos Jr. last May to win the IBF title, but hasn't defended the belt or has shown any signs of returning. He retired and he was saying that I felt as though like he didn't really like they were saying that he was scared or anything like that. I was like the IBF then gave Lomachenko an ultimatum where he would need to face the winner of a proposed interim fight between Raymond Muratalla. If Lomachenko does compete and faces the winner of Muratalla vs Abdulov, a Davis fight in 2025 feels like a long shot. Most boxers dream of working with His Excellency Turki Alalshik, the mastermind behind Riyadh season and a central force in boxing's recent revival. As chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Alalshik has been instrumental in orchestrating some of the sport's biggest showdowns in recent years. But it's like people selling their no even the picture where everybody was in the room like some they saw that song. Yeah, you go with that. That was crazy. And you seen how the guy was he looked at his from Tyson Fury vs Alexander Usyk to the highly anticipated clash between Dmitry Bivol and Erbed The Saudi royal has reignited a spark that many felt boxing had lost. Yet one name remains noticeably absent from Alalshik's star-studded roster. Gervonta Davis. Despite Alalshik's growing influence, the Baltimore native has steered clear of his orbit. However, Tank had addressed why he hadn't joined boxing's most powerful orchestrator while also revealing the conditions that would need to be met for a showdown with World Boxing Council lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson, which could happen this year or the next. You lose your point. Come on, you want to get Tank over here and fight, man. I already know what y'all going to do, but every time I say something, it's like I'm hating. According to an Instagram post from Hand Rap TV, which had reshared what the World Boxing Association lightweight champion had said to Lil Yachty back in February, the 30-year-old explained that he took issue with how they approached him. They came at me wrong the first time, Gervonta Davis said. According to the post, they told me I'd fight Devin Haney, then said Devin was his guy. This seems to have caused some concerns for the undefeated power puncher who felt the odds were stacked against him. Do you want your legacy to be if you care? 'Cause some interviews I see you say yeah, I don't care about this. I don't care about that. Where you stand on that? It just it's so up and down in the sport, which when I say up and down in sport, it's like a lot of people don't know, but it been 3 and 4 people in my weight class that been undisputed. MHM. Type of thing. And they held it for only a couple months. I beat Ryan. If Devin is your guy, you have to pay me right. Davis explained what it would take for him to work with Alshik. 'Cause I already know what I'm coming over there. I've got to get the knockout. If not, they'll give it to him. Since Devin Haney is no longer in lightweight and Shakur Stevenson is working with Riyadh season and a fight between them is said to be inevitable, paying Davis right is the only way to make the Davis-Stevenson fight. Regardless, Davis is slated to have his much-anticipated rematch against Lamont Roach Jr. on August 16, 2025 in Las Vegas, Nevada, following their controversial draw on March 1 in New York. Ryan beat Devin. Devin was undisputed. You get what I'm saying? Like it's up and down, cause some people would discredit what I've done. I ain't going to lie, my influence, my everything in the sport, just that alone, even coming from where I come from, is like, you feel me? I feel like I'm already up there. Amichem. With whoever, like Floyd Mayweather. On the flip side, Stevenson will defend his World Boxing Council lightweight title against William Zapata on July 12, 2025 at Louis Armstrong Stadium in Queens, New York. Coming back to Davis and Alalshik. This isn't the first time Davis has commented on not working with the Saudi royal on the Better BFV vs Bibble 2 card in February. The Baltimore knockout artist made shocking accusations against the Saudi advisor and even the fighters who have aligned with him. His main concern seemed to have been the growing influence of the Saudi royal over the sport of boxing, which he conveyed during the same interview with Lil Yachty. They've been saying they're getting messed up over there. It's not just one fight, it's numerous fights, Tank had stated, hinting at biased scorecards and manipulation. Right. Cause you in the Mike camp, you don't do no nothing, huh? Yeah. It's only gym at home for me. No. No. No bottles, no club. Yeah. No clubs, no females. There's no women. Yeah. Even if I'm like with a female, I'm not having sex with her. Not having sex. Strict. Yeah. For sure. Where did that mentality come from? Cause I like when I put myself in that situation.